Welcome to Arunim Ankuran. Today we are going to have another episode of Ek Samvad with Dr. Lakshmi. To begin with, let me say something about Arunim Ankuran. It is an initiative for positive social change through self-development. The goal is greater well-being and happiness for everyone through self-development. And the A, B, C, D, E of positive change, as Aruni Mankuran looks at it, starts with self-awareness, self-belief, self-confidence, self-development, and self-expression. The belief that motivates Aruni Mankuran also has one other important ingredient, which is that each person is unique and special in some way. Let us make every drop count and be the change. Ek Samvad is an opportunity to interact with wonderful people who are doing something different, who are doing something meaningful and worthwhile, and who are an inspiration for everyone who wants to become better. Today's Ek Samvad features Dr. K. Lakshmi. She's a very dear friend. The topic for today's session is the personal COVID positive experience of a psychologist. It so happened that Lakshmi and me, we were both of us were talking about a mental health awareness session some days back. And before we could think of actually working on that, she tested COVID positive. And I think her experience has been a very unique one in the sense that she is a psychologist, she's a mental health professional, and how she coped with the experience and how she helped other people who were with her during that period when she was admitted in the hospital. I think this is going to be a very enriching session for all of us. So I'd like Lakshmi to say a few things about herself so that I know her very well, but I'd like the viewers to get to know her too. Over to you, Lakshmi.
Thank you, Pragya. I'm just very privileged to be here and talking with you. We have, as Dr. Pragya has already said, we have been very dear friends and we've been friends for over 30 years now. So that's a long-standing, deep friendship that we hold together. And I'm really very privileged to be here talking conversing with you today. She has already said a few things about me, and she's put up a few what so-called degrees that we have earned, some together and some individual ways. But both of us have been in the field of psychology, and so I have been. Volunteering and practicing as a counselor and therapist. And mental health has always been a priority in some sense. You know, I've always been aware of the importance of mental health and the importance of aspects of self
Yes.
processes have always been very primary and that has been very important. So I believe that self and the self is the basis for pretty much all our lives and the way we go through in our relationships in and how we interact with the world and connect with each other as well. So this is something that happens to be, and somehow throughout my journey, either through the academia or through other aspects of life or life experiences or lived experiences, as we may call, uh, somehow it has always gone back to being self-awareness and self-expression, self-beliefs, the core values. These have always taken deep interest, and they hold deep interest for me, both for myself and for my personal growth as well as to understand other people's, nature, and to try and uh, walk with them, perhaps.
Wonderful.
I would say walk with them in different aspects of their lives and how they would like to live their lives. So to
Absolutely.
talk with somebody and to listen to others
Yes.
is a very it's a very challenging experience, very a lot of time, because the listening takes place non-judgmentally and being completely present to the other person's
True.
experience and to
Yes.
the other person's
Yes.
beingness as such. So this is a small uh, aspect of me as I have been, going through the years and
Yeah.
gathering experience as we go along. It's not like there's nothing that I can say I know this or I don't know that, but it's a learning experience with every interaction and every connection that I make.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Lakshmi. I
So
think
that.
that resonates with Arunim Ankuran very well. The idea that
Mhm.
we can develop ourselves, and the best investment that we can make is in ourselves.
Absolutely,
I want to add,
absolutely.
Lakshmi is a wonderful Veena player. She's a very talented musician. I think she missed saying that. So, what we are going to talk about today, let me just go through the talking points. Her first hand experience of the diagnosis. Does it make any difference that she has a certain kind of training in dealing with stress? Did that make any difference to how she dealt with that diagnosis? Then we'll talk about the stress, the COVID experience. She was actually admitted in a COVID ward for 9 days. She had these co-patients. She made a major impact on them. That is what I look at it as, from the perspective of a friend and the perspective of a psychologist, a mental health professional who was herself a patient at that time, but she still took care to listen to them and to help them out even in that situation. So that makes her a very special and strong person. The importance of sharing, getting in touch with oneself, the personal and the others around you, and how the attitude that we have towards a particular situation, any situation, especially a stressful one, makes a very big difference. They say that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. I would add to it and say that stress also lies in the eyes of the beholder. So, a lot of how we look at a stressful situation depends on the choices we make, what we choose to focus on. So, to begin with, I'd like to ask Lakshmi to share that particular day and that particular time when she received the report which said that she is COVID positive. How did she feel? What did she go through at that moment? Over to you, Lakshmi. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm kind of traveling back in time in in some ways, and though it's not been too long, it sometimes feels like it's been a very long time. Also, it has just been last month, maybe 6 weeks or 7 weeks since this whole thing, kind of took place. So the day I tested and I got the result of my COVID test. But before that, I was already, I had gone for other tests on the recommendation of my doctor, and my doctor diagnosed me as dengue positive, also dengue fever.
Hmm.
So that itself was a little, out of the ordinary. I mean, it was unexpected, rather,
Right.
not out of the ordinary, but it was very unexpected.
Mhm.
And I was still dealing with that whole experience of being dengue positive
Mhm.
in the days where everybody is, testing for COVID. And so suddenly dengue, although it's slightly more known than COVID, it
Mhm.
seemed a little unexpected, and I was trying to come to grips with that. And and then a couple of days later, my doctor called me and said I am COVID positive. So no doubt, whatever it is, I think the first thing is to be I mean, it was a human reaction. I
Mhm.
was shocked. I was under shock, and certainly it was stressful to know that I was COVID positive, mainly because the whole, things that we are doing around COVID, which
Yes.
seemed like isolation and, the a kind of a fear atmosphere that was already prevalent,
Right.
and the uncertainty and the unknownness of the whole thing.
Right.
Although people have been giving us a list of, things to
Yes.
do and not do,
Yeah.
but that seemed rather remote. It was always somewhere else. But
Hmm.
to actually go through and experience that, uh, suddenly it was like I didn't know what to do.
Right.
Although I was being instructed and said,
Right.
okay, you have to isolate, you have to do this, and you have to go to the hospital, and so many other things were there.
Mhm.
Uh, but in that moment, I was just stunned, shocked,
Mhm.
and not knowing what to do. So
Right.
that bit of I remember clearly it was quite stressful. Just to be like, what do we do? What are all these parameters that we have to follow? What are all these different things that I
Guidelines.
need to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isolate and where and the logistics. So the
Exactly.
whole thing, in fact, those logistics were more stressful than actually coming to know that I was
Mhm.
COVID positive in that sense.
Mhm.
So it seemed like a very uh, so it took me a while
Yeah.
to kind of, and then there was a flurry of activity in the house as well, because nobody expected that, least of all
Mhm.
myself.
Mhm.
And so the unexpected and, suddenly something coming and just plonking in
Yeah.
the middle of, somewhat, going in a peaceful way,
Yeah.
seemed very difficult to me, a difficult challenge at that point of time. So there was this whole thing of, okay, I need to isolate, and then everybody rushing around here
Right.
and there, and some useless activity perhaps, but
Mhm.
that's how it actually, so the first reaction was shock, not knowing what to do,
Right.
uncertainty, not knowing what, where to go, whom to consult, because
Right.
suddenly this whole thing of, everybody kind of shifting back,
Yes.
withdrawing and moving away, oh, you're
Yeah.
COVID positive. And I
Yes.
myself, I remember shrinking away from myself, which
Yeah.
was, oh gosh, I'm COVID positive, even though I'm
Yeah.
going through that.
Where should
And
I go now?
so that, where should I go now? So
Yeah.
I cannot escape from myself. I cannot isolate from myself as such. So
True. Yeah.
that was a big, a kind of moment which
Yeah.
it was sitting right there without, any
Yes.
known activity in that particular moment.
Right.
So so that was something that was a reaction that, I can say the first reaction.
So, when
And
we read it in the books, we say alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. But when it really happens to you, that first
yeah.
stage is. What would you say to somebody who tests positive, Lakshmi? How should they, having gone through that stage when you just discovered it, what would you
Yeah.
suggest to somebody, let's say, who's just tested positive and got the report, so that, they can retain their balance and do things that need to be done rather than panic?
I would say breathe. Breathe and breathe deeply. That is so important. I mean, I remembered after a while, but it really helps to hear that,
Yeah.
because in that moment it's very difficult to remember what to do and how to do it and what we need. So it's so important that somebody gives you the instructions. So
Yes.
I was being given instructions about, go to the hospital, you call this, you do that, you need to call an ambulance, you have to go and admit, and what all, isolate at home, you
Mhm.
can't touch, things, you can't be outside the room, and all those instructions. But really, nobody told me to breathe, and
Yeah.
I don't think anybody remembered either. Least of all myself, even though I've trained in that. So the first reaction is to remember to breathe deeply,
Mhm.
and not just this,
Mhm.
not just being COVID positive, but I would say any stressful situation, any challenging
Yes. Yes.
situation, any difficult time, any particular circumstance that comes without us being aware of it,
Right.
or even if we are aware of it,
Yeah.
breathing deeply. It has a lot of neurological and biophysical significance as well.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
so important to send that oxygen to the brain
Absolutely.
and really help it to think and
Yes.
process
Yes.
the information. So,
So I think
uh,
what you just said, Lakshmi,
so
is
if we don't
something.
breathe, we are depriving ourselves of oxygen.
Yeah. And I think what you just said is very important for all of us to hear, the fact that everyone is telling you what to do on the outside, but
Yes,
nobody is concerned with the real thing, actually, the thing that hit you like a bang, it's something that hit you
yes,
on the inside. And how should you deal
absolutely.
with that shock? That is what also we
Yes.
need to look at. So,
And that was more important. I think the outside would have come later, but
right,
in a sense, there was this sense of urgency. Oh, you need to isolate, you need to be logged in, and this and that, and not knowing what to do next,
right.
etc. But you know, just taking care of yourself, or even asking, "Are you okay? What are you
Yes,
going through?"
yes,
I
right.
think would be really helpful and
Yeah.
useful for anybody else.
I think
And in this,
it's that
it's so
comfort.
important.
Yeah, the
Yes,
comfort
it's so,
that you need, the emotional support, that comfort, that
yes,
cozy
yes,
feeling that it's okay, it's
yeah,
going to be fine. Right,
yes. So
right.
everybody is rushing around to do the tasks that we think we know,
Yeah.
but to be actually take that 2 minutes to say,
Mhm.
okay, how
You'll
are
be
you
fine.
feeling? Sit
Right,
down. Yeah, let me give you a glass of water, or
true.
take a couple of minutes to breathe.
Right.
Is, I think, extremely important.
Lakshmi, how did you feel once you were already admitted in the hospital? You were in a ward with a few other patients. So just recount for us how that experience was. How did you personally cope with it? And then when you realized that you were in a position to help the people around you, what did you do?
So, after much confusion and chaos added to the diagnosis of COVID itself, I finally landed in a hospital ward at pretty late, around 11 p.m. in the night. And
Okay.
that itself was quite a journey from home to the hospital, because there's a lot of bureaucratic procedures that went on, and didn't go on as they were supposed to. So there was just added stress, adding, from all quarters in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, even realize where this hospital was. Practically in the middle of the night, and me not being well, the whole situation was quite confusing, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally ended up in this ward. It was a COVID female ward.
Mm-hmm.
There were about five people,
Mm-hmm.
five other. It was a five-bed ward,
Mm-hmm.
actually. As four others were already there,
Right.
four women, and I had no clue. They were all sleeping when I, was finally shown a bed, and so I just lay down and, tried to make sense of what was happening. My head was really reeling from that whole experience of
Mm-hmm.
trying to get to a hospital in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me that N95 mask and the hospital gown, etc. So uh, that itself was, I was wearing that mask, and through, yeah. So there were just, four other women of varying ages, and
Mm-hmm.
pretty much I figured that still slightly older than I am, and they were just coming from very different backgrounds, and then slowly we started, because there are all these other symptoms as well. I had to take care of myself as well, and the nurses coming in and checking all the parameters and doing
Mhm.
blood tests, and so many different things were happening for
Right.
each person.
Hmm.
And then there was one person who was going to be discharged that day. So I
Mhm.
got my first experience of discharge, and how long it was taking for somebody to get discharged, and how stressed out they were. There was
Right.
a lot of confusion, I would say,
Hmm.
a lot of confusion in this whole experience.
Hmm.
And then there was this older lady who was desperately wanting to be discharged, but nobody was telling her anything. And then, that whole experience, her own experience of how she was diagnosed, and then her husband's experience of being diagnosed, and then she and her husband going to different wards in different
Right.
hospitals.
Mhm.
It was just, being somebody to just, listen to, quite a relief in some sense.
So, in addition to feeling physically feeling unwell, it was the psychological dimension of the whole thing, the isolation and the fact that you have to go alone to the hospital. Whereas if somebody is normally unwell, a host of relatives are ready to take them to the hospital, etc. So I think one of the major challenges of the COVID situation is that you're isolated. Instead of being cared for by family members, you're usually being sent away to a hospital by yourself and in the middle of strangers. So we just heard from Lakshmi how the isolation, the physical isolation itself can be a very stressful experience. And added to that, the psychological dimension of being alone when you're
Okay.
not well, and of having to take care of your physical symptoms as well as all the stress that the situation itself is causing. So, how does your own attitude come into play? What is the importance of
Right.
being mentally strong in these kind of situations? And surely, because of your own training, you must have felt that was an asset for you. So share that experience, Lakshmi. How being mentally strong and knowing how to deal with stress, how being aware of coping strategies that are available to you helped you to help not only yourself but the people around.
So it's very important, I feel, to just keep practicing, you know, stress busters and so many different ways. And that came to light really in my COVID ward
Mhm.
experience, I would say, because uh, um, but I would say the training and being in that mental health profession helped me see things a lot more quick in some ways, and try to understand. And it just came naturally that listen to the other person, because that's what I usually do also in all counseling and therapy settings,
Mhm.
situations where most of the time listening without any baggage, any bias, without any judge, listening non-judgy, actually so quickly. The outcomes of it were remarkable. So despite being physically unwell and also stressed out in many ways,
Mhm.
this whole thing of trying to listen to somebody and
Mhm.
share their distress and pain, I
Wow.
felt was for them, I could see a visible difference, and someone left at home. So there's
What is the major takeaway from that whole experience of going through a very stressful experience, coming face to face with uh, a tremendous amount of physical, psychological, emotional turmoil, then trying to connect with people who were in the same circumstances, giving them a frame that would make the picture look less bleak
right.
to them, and also bringing your own skills as a psychologist, as a mental health uh, professional, uh,
Right.
did you come away feeling stronger in some ways? Idea of helping others to help themselves makes us feel stronger too. Did that experience in any way enhance your own confidence as someone who can make a difference to other people's lives? Like I remember when we were talking about it, you said, one of those ladies, when she went away, she said, okay, I'm going to practice some of the things that I've learned from you. So, Lakshmi, having been through the whole experience in person, what are some of the things that you would like to say to anyone who's listening about the COVID experience and how to pull through, because you can rely on yourself and your own mental strength?
Able to sit and pay attention to what is going on, with me. And that bit of, feeling of compassion for oneself,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time trying to give compassion to the other.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, and then this, she remarked that, oh, you seem quite, okay with trying out anything, whatever they're giving you.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember telling her that, yeah, I need to get energy into my system. I'm not in a state to, complain or say that, this is not good or not that, because there's no other, in one way, it seems quite fine. And the most important thing is to, get better. So that was
Right.
the priority. What is the priority?
Hmm.
And I saw her stop and actually think about this for a moment. And until then, I had no clue what it was doing. So my attitude and approach, I had no clue how it was influencing and impacting. And she said, yes, I think I will try this out. And, when I go home, I'm going to, try out different things and see how to cope. And it's not just the food, it's also coping with different situations, coping with different unexpected things that are thrown our way.
Right.
I think food was just an example, but it was more the unexpectedness of life brings in a lot of circumstances and situations which we're not really ready for, or we don't
Right.
expect, don't prepare for. So I think that helped. So this reconnection or the connection with oneself, even if it is one part of you,
Right.
even if it is naming one emotion that you're feeling, and uh, acknowledging that you are also important, you are a person in your own right. So I remember telling, so there was this lady, a new admission, who came in and she said, I don't know what's happening at home. I don't know how they're going to manage. So I said, you are here for a week. They're going to keep you here for a week. Nobody else is going to do anything there's nobody is going to come and serve. So this is a specific thing for women, I feel, where we are all so used to serving for others, and we're keeping ourselves in the background.
True.
Look at this as an opportunity to, recoup for yourself. You need to recharge. First, even acknowledge that you are important and you need to also take care of yourself. Without taking care of ourselves, we really cannot take care of others. And
So true.
I will not label this as selfish or self-centered. I think it is, it's so important. It's like the cliched phrase that we use, put on your own oxygen mask before you can help somebody else.
Absolutely.
It is so important to stop and take stock of what is happening with you, where you are, who you are. In many ways, I don't think we ever stop to sit down and think about all of these things. We are so caught up with the daily routine and humdrum and everybody else's agonies and anxieties and stresses and their own unexpected challenges, that we forget or we put ourselves in the background, in many ways. So I think this so somewhere some told me that yes, they will, that they feel more stable, that they feel more able to cope with what is happening. And others, I think, silently, for themselves, they found some kind of strength within themselves. So it is nothing but your own strength, that which we cover up or we neglect. So I feel that is very important, and that's the reason I also say sharing is so important. We need to share,
Right.
and we need to see that we are also cared for. Somebody's out there to listen to us, and that makes a whole lot of difference.
So
that
true.
you are being heard without any judgment, without any bias, because each brought their own situations. It was all each one was so unique. Each one was so valid in themselves, in being themselves. There was nothing right or wrong about any of them or any of us.
Yes.
So it's not like everything was running smoothly. I mean, there were other stresses going on, because in every day some new thing was coming up, and we were all dealing with the stresses that were coming up in our lives, in our respective situations and circumstances. But knowing that okay, there is somebody there to share with, and say it out and acknowledge and help to hear it. By saying it, we are hearing it also, and that gives, I think, a lot of solace and a lot of relief, and that connection with oneself. I would actually say that was the crux of the whole thing. So I myself went through a whole lot of processes and reformulation of myself, if I can call it that. What I have been doing all so many days and weeks, and what is happening now, how maybe I cannot continue with the same ways of being or ways of doing things in life, and what would change for me, what would change for others, and then trying to see priorities, and trying to see how it's going to work. So it's a kind of a self process that it's still continuing, I would say, because I'm still not completely okay. So that's the other thing. The virus reacts differently in different people, and brings in different symptoms and brings in different reactions in different people. So there's no set pattern. So I think it's important, even more important, that we connect with ourselves and see what it is doing to us, and what we are doing to ourselves, and how we are looking at ourselves, and what we need to change, or maybe adapt or adjust to or cope with. So I feel this is something that came up by and by. It was not like it just arrived in my mind at that point of time, but it's just through this living experience of the whole situation. And so I'm not going to label it. The other thing was not labeling. This I was constantly telling myself. I should not label this as bad, good, right, wrong. Why me? It would have been, so maybe it was me, and and not somebody else who probably would have been much worse off. So perhaps it was. So I'm part of this world, and I'm part of this universe, and it's important that so what prevents me from not going through some experience. So this but the not labeling part, not judging part, I think that also is part of the training, and the part of the experience of our everyday counseling and therapy experience of not most important, I would say, is not being judgmental of ourselves, not being self-critical, and not just not being self-critical, but even more importantly, to be compassionate towards ourselves.
Absolutely.
While it is
Absolutely.
so easy to say, oh, and be compassionate towards others and say and be kind towards others, we somehow shirk back. We somehow shirk and we somehow move back and not show the same kind of kindness to ourselves. So there's a lot that we are saying to ourselves when we are not doing certain things, and I think that that is very important to acknowledge. It takes a lot of practice. It's not easy. It's ingrained in our psyche for many generations and centuries. But it is possible. It is possible to live and let live, if I can say that.
Yeah.
It is possible to be strong and and help and be with others also. It's like the Ubuntu spirit, the team spirit, always the cooperation spirit. That I feel is so critical, so important in especially in the pandemic times, especially when the whole world is going through such a
Yes.
crisis. It is extremely important that we be together,
Wonderful.
while maintaining whatever physical distance that we are being
Yes.
urged to do so. I think it's
It was very, very enlightening for us to hear Lakshmi talk about the need for self-compassion as well as compassion for others, and the fact that you can put the two together even in the situation that the pandemic has put us in. Thinking for about yourself is something that should be priority. Taking care of your own needs is also very, very important, because that's only when you are in a position to take care of others, only when you are well, within yourselves and without, physically and mentally. So Lakshmi, let's wind up this talk that we with how did it change, or how did it change you as a person, the whole COVID experience, how do you think it has impacted you as a person?
right. So in some ways, like I said earlier, there was a kind of a reformulation going on. It was like rearranging different parts of me, and trying partly because I was going through a lot of fatigue and exhaustion, and there were things which I needed to just absolutely let go of, and there was no way I could manage. So partly, it comes from, and the other part is also, although I was very stressed out being in hospital and even during isolation at home and home quarantine, with so many different, inputs coming from all quarters, and, there was just a lot of, uh, but it gave me a chance to breathe, share my distress, at least even say it aloud to myself, where I could uh, unhesitatingly accept that I'm going through all of these and not labeling any of these. So it was like observing all the emotions and all the different feelings, all the different thoughts and ideas. It was like, one of those streams, that was just going through, and I was just observing them, in many ways, and not really attaching. And there were times when I was also feeling, quite overwhelmed with everything. But even acknowledging that I am overwhelmed really helped a lot. Really helped me. Where I don't think previously I did that. I don't think I really sat down and said, okay, these are all what I'm going through, and I never time as such to focus on anything that was happening here. So there's a whole lot of play. Each at home things are going on, and in the outside world so many things are going on. Then family members are going through their own. So in many ways, I think this letting go of many things that I had held on to earlier happened, and again absorbing different things, absorbing different ideas. So I was even humorously telling somebody that, calling this, okay, project reformulation, Lakshmi, and saying, okay, I'll be this new
Yes.
person. I don't think it is really possible as such, but there are many things, different ways, different perspectives.
Yeah.
I think I've gained perspective, different approaches of looking at experiences, that people, and at the way, we cope and deal with challenges, we cope and deal with situations, we cope and deal with stress, pain, and I try to follow as much as possible about sharing what is going on with me. But previously, I was kind of on the quieter side. I wouldn't really express myself, or even take time to see, okay, what's going on. It was all a lot of time about, okay, somebody would talk about something and you listen. But here I felt uh, I'm also doing a lot more sharing than I know otherwise would have, and I'm able to be with it. I'm able to sit with it, and it doesn't feel so odd anymore, or it doesn't feel very different or difficult. And I feel that's a newer aspect. It's probably the different phases of life as well, but it just happened to come at this point in my lifetime, and I think there's so many different ways of looking at situations, and looking at and trying to understand myself and others, and the whole world in general. So there's a lot of rearranging, maybe discarding or modifying older, other earlier patterns. So I won't say older, but earlier ways of being, giving more importance to this compassionate practice.
Yes.
Because at some point we have to be for ourselves. It's very difficult to expect that somebody else will do it. It's not out of any feeling victimized or any of those things, but just as a measure of strength. That to be able to take care of ourselves is seems very, very important. And again, this is not selfish or self-centered in any way. This is, I feel, a core thing to truly take care of ourselves, and while while also extending the same compassion. So it's extending compassion, or extending that same self to others and to ourselves. It's a simultaneous process. So carrying, all of us together, we're all in the same level. We're all in the same, like holding hands and running the same race and reaching the, finish line, or reaching the whatever line at the same time. So it is like that. So that, I think, it's just become more sharper and more keen now. To be able to, and more important to be trying to do that at least. So I think this is all only we can only attempt and see how it turns out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi, for sharing the entire experience. And I think, it's like we were saying at the beginning of the session that it's not just about stress, it's what you do with it. So a diamond is just another piece of coal that took stress well. So I would, listening to you saying all the things that you said, I think probably you have emerged as the diamond, not only for yourself, you made the other people
You are so
around you.
kind.
Yeah, the other people
There are
around
many
you.
black spots. There are many black spots which I need to polish off.
Even that awareness, the awareness of that also became heightened, right? From that experience of being by yourself. And I think sometimes, there is a purpose in life. So maybe the fact that you went there and you made a difference to the lives of those people around you, all those other patients who were probably, better off because you were with them. I think,
I don't
and
know if that made a difference. I don't know how they're perceiving it. But I think because of them, it made a difference to me. And
wow.
I have emerged, a different person. I have emerged, having a different view on different slices of life. So I think, so many different experiences, so many different things that I was
Mhm,
going through
mhm.
uh, made me I just a lot of gratitude. I just
Yes.
feel immense sense of gratitude and
Mhm,
thankfulness, sincere thankfulness
mhm,
that you know we have come out of this and we are able to cope and we are able to go through in whatever way that it's a redefined way of uh, approaching life. But I think that sense of gratitude is
mhm.
what I would, it's overarching.
Yeah.
That yes, we are in a good place despite so many troubles and so many crises and challenges and
Mhm,
situations.
mhm,
So I would really say I'm deeply grateful to the universe, to everybody in my life,
mhm,
family, friends, and I will be remiss if I do not acknowledge how everybody every single day would
mhm,
message me, talk to me, and connect with me, keep me connected, keep me in their prayers and their wishes. Even people, friends of friends, families
mhm,
of friends.
mhm,
So many. I'm just I mean, really, really fortunate. I would say inordinately fortunate
mhm.
to have everybody's blessings and prayers and their good wishes. I think that's what really carried me through. So I'm really deeply grateful to each and everybody for that.
I'm sure everyone who's watching this
So there were
video.
many things that people did. I cannot even begin to list out, how each person would.
I think,
Yeah.
let me
So
say
I
this.
think that is just very overwhelming for me.
That's lovely, Lakshmi.
Extremely overwhelming, and uh, I would put down my recovery to entirely everybody's best wishes and prayers and blessings.
I think everyone can see what a lovely
I would
person
say
Lakshmi is.
really thank you.
And
Thank you, Pragya, for this wonderful opportunity.
oh, it's a blessing to have you on this Ek Samvad, Lakshmi. And I'm sure everyone who's watching can see all that positivity which
I'm
reflects.
just a reflection of all the people around me.
Yeah.
I'm just reflection of everybody in my life.
And you're a brilliant reflection of that, Lakshmi. And your positivity is sure enough reflecting to everybody who is watching this. See the positive thought process, the idea of connecting with one's own self-compassion, and trying to keep the sunny side up. Uh, Plus, reframing situations that looked bleak and trying to count blessings, gratitude. All this is part of how you can retain your mental wellness. The idea that if you connect with yourself and if you connect with other people genuinely, without any boundaries, without any judgments, you know, that's an enriching experience for one's own self as well as for other people. So,
So I would just say thank you for giving me this opportunity to share uh, my thanks and the credit of everything that you have said goes to all my family and all my friends, uh, my entire all the people in my life who really helped me be who I am today. And I would just give everybody else the credit. And I'm really, really fortunate to have friends and family and you who I've known for a very long time. So each one is very special. Each one is unique, and each one is so important and precious. So I would really, I cherish everybody, whoever is in my life, uh, in very, very special ways.
Mhm.
So thank you so much, Pragya.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi. And on behalf of everyone who's watching, Lakshmi is still recovering. She was, kind enough to join us on this show, but I know she needs to rest. And this has been quite a strenuous session, talking for so long, and she needs to recoup. We'll be back. Both of us will be back later on at some point of time with a session on mental health awareness, why it's very important to take care of your mental health. Thank you for now. Thank you for joining us. And see you soon, Lakshmi. Take care. Stay well and keep shining.